Okay, I want to tell you about how talking to y'all and knowing you're listening to me, how that has made a difference today with me at work. Us mothers, bereaved mamas, have been told it's not socially acceptable to talk about our children. Just even to really talk about our children out in public, and I guess especially on our job. And I have done that, and I talk about politics, in my conspiracy theories. Ooh. But today, I did not talk about any of that. I just talked about other stuff. It was just a wonderful day, and I just want to thank you all for listening and being here with me. It means a lot, and it's helping so far, evidently. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you for your kind words. My job is I work at Food Lion at the grocery store. So there's the issue with my food. That's one thing about the food issue, not having a cooler in the car, all that, I can get fresh food just about every day on my job. I clean the buggies. I bring the buggies in now, but I mainly clean the buggies, and I'm up front where I see everybody that comes in and everybody that leaves. I talk to a lot of customers. I've been there almost 3 years. So I do talk a lot to them about the politics, conspiracy theories. They love talking to me because they believe them too. I have fun that way. But right now, that's where I'm at. But my skills are not that. I have higher skills. But with this going on, I can't yet. What possessed me to make this choice is like the only choice I have. The only choice I have to take care of myself. The only choice I have to not ask anybody else for anything. When now on my own, because this is all I have. I only have my car to my name. I own my car. All I pay for is insurance, and I still have full coverage insurance on my car. And it's in good condition, and it's mine. Nobody could tell me what to do here. Nobody could judge me. Maybe they could judge me by my TikToks, but it's going to take a while for me through this in my journey to explain everything that got me to the point where I'm living in my car. And there's been worse I've gone through in my life than living in a car. I promise you. Yes, I have been where you've been, wanting to die. When I lost Dustin, I was praying to God to kill me because I didn't have the guts to do it myself. So I prayed. I told my pastor, I told my husband, I told my church family. I told everybody that I was praying to God to kill me. That was the only way I could express my pain and how bad it was. And I just wanted to go too. I felt worthless. I felt like I was emotionally distanced from my 2 daughters that were born before Dustin. And although I was I can't say that word right now, as a mother, but still I wanted to die. And after I lost Allison, things started changing then. And I got to the point where I felt like I could kill myself. Part 2 now. And within a year after losing Allison, I was really, when I prayed for God to kill me, I would ask him to let a transfer truck run over me. How ironic, when that's where I'm staying, around truckers, where truckers park, because I feel safe around truckers. But all those years I was praying to God, not even thinking about the trucker's life. If he would have ran over me and killed me, that's how messed up I was in my thinking of wanting to die. So I, praying to God to kill me. But after Allison, I started thinking about driving in front of the transfer truck instead, doing it myself. And then again, I'm thinking about the trucker's life. What would that have done? So I knew then the only thing I could do was to go to the ER and admit myself into the ER and let them know the feelings that I was having. And after I went to the ER, they got me a nice hospital to go stay at in the mountains of western North Carolina. Very, 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 very beautiful there. And it was a very nice place. God was with me. And I could have stayed just a couple of days, whatever. I chose to stay a week. I knew I needed some kind of help. And it was group therapy all week long. The counselor only talked like a couple of minutes a day, checking on the medicine they had to give you. But it was good therapy, very good therapy, group therapy. Evidently, that's what works for me. And as I continue on this journey, my therapy will be getting into grief share group therapy groups in churches around my area. But I've made it, and I don't want to die no more. Hey, I know I didn't check in last night. I worked hard. I was tired. Just got up. Gonna go get coffee, and then I'll check back in with y'all. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I bet you are, and I'm just starting my day.
Girl, that $1,400 hit my account real quick. I'm ready to go home.
Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
I have to. Did I go over? I have to check and see if I got my. I made a mess. And yes, I clean my own messes. I am not gonna leave this for someone to clean up when I made the mess. And I look like crap. No makeup, no nothing. I can't believe I'm on social media looking like this. Did he say a check, a $1,400 check? Did he get his $1,400 check? Good morning. Getting settled before I go into work. I start at 7 o'clock. This morning is going by fast, it seems. So I don't have much time to answer a lot of questions or comments right now, but I do want to assure everybody that I am safe. I am in an area where I know everybody. I'm familiar with this area. They just don't know where I'm staying right now. You know, I'm incognito even with the ones that know me, but my girls, my young ladies at work that I work with, I love to death. They're always checking on me. They're watching over me too. I have an online friend that knows my location at all times. So I am feeling safe. I believe I'm safe. And God is with me, so don't worry about that. I do find the truckers. I stay where the truckers are, and I feel... No, they are not buried next to each other. I lost Dustin in 1989 when we were living in southeast Georgia. And after the divorce, my ex moved back to Alabama, to his home state when he wasn't supposed to. So that's another long story there in another video. And so Allison was back and forth in her later years living between me and her father, and she ended up in Alabama, and she is buried there in Alabama near his mother. And then he passed away a year and a half after Allison died. We think he grieved himself to death. He died in his sleep from a heart attack, and he is buried next to her. And when I pass, I will be buried next to my son Dustin in Georgia, even if they have to cremate me and take my ashes there. Well, severe weather is coming my way tonight, and I'm going to have to find a safe spot. This is going to be really interesting. And I'm here, and this is the storm of the century. So I really picked a fine time to be doing this, haven't I? Yep, that'd be something I would do. But I could take care of myself. And I'll do some updates with you. I will be better than the Weather Channel. I will tell you like it really is. I won't sell you no propaganda. I won't give you no BS story. I'll show you like it is. It's going to be hard to sleep tonight too, so I'm going to do my best to be keeping up with y'all. This will be interesting to me. It hasn't rained anymore. I mean, any heavier. It hasn't rained heavier. You guessed my spot. I saw one earlier when I went to go wash my clothes. I was like, yes, the perfect spot. Old-timey one. Cement, everything. I don't think anybody will mind me being there, especially when it's downpouring. Surely no cop will come up to me and ask me what I'm doing there. I could just say, I'm just scared of driving in the rain. You know, some kind of excuse. But yeah, that's my spot. I'll show y'all later when I get there. I do have relatives I could go stay with or park in their yard. I just don't want to ask them for anything. I need just keep my distance from them. And I work tomorrow 1 to 5, and then I'm going to Alabama for a few days to be with my grandchildren. And during this time off, I will hopefully be able to go through all the reasons that I am staying in my car. I mean, there's so much to my story, but the reasons that drove me to this point. And right now it looks like God's with me, helping me like I know He would be. And the storm is not as bad as, unless something worse is coming, it's not bad yet. Good morning, y'all. Well, it barely rained here. Mild rain. The radar looked just plumb awful. But hardly no rain. I don't know what to say. Well, you know, a couple hours before I have to work today, we're going to have thunderstorms. And then right when I have to work, the thunderstorm stops. Then an hour later, the thunderstorm comes back again. And then an hour later, the sun starts coming out. That's what my hourly weather report says right now. Until I go to work, it'll just be hit and miss rain, I guess. This was a storm of the century. God took care of me. It was a hit and a miss, and we still got to pray for the whole South. Still got to pray for Alabama. Okay, I guess, and what I'm going to talk about since what I went through last night, and a lot of people asking me the reasons why I'm living in my car. With this first part, I could say, now this is something that is not socially acceptable, that I cannot talk about in public, especially on my job. I'm getting ready to go to work in a little bit, and I surely can't go to work talking about what I'm going to say here. And when I was going through the storms last night, or facing the storms and keeping up on stuff, I'm one that believes in weather manipulation. I believe in weather warfare. And that's the one conspiracy I would say, well, I call it a conspiracy because that's what everybody else says it is. And that, I see my time running out. Part 2. I believe the chemtrails. I have so many pictures and videos of chemtrails. And when I used to post them on Facebook, my high school friends would just laugh at me. They thought I was crazy. For real. I would think people were avoiding me because I lost a second child, and maybe they just didn't know how to deal with it, you know, even though we've been friends for a long time, you know, since teenagers. Been through everything all through the years. And when I lose a second child, for some reason, we can't be friends with Leah unless, you know, it was also my conspiracy theories. I was, you know, starting to learn a lot. Oh my God, it's a big long story to how I even got started on those things. And it did start back when I first got saved in 1983. And I think God's the one that put me on the trail. And I gave up because people were laughing at me. But anyway, back to the chemtrails. I believe the chemtrails are part of the weather manipulation. I believe they control the rain. They control the tornadoes. They control the hurricanes. I am not going to give this evil to God. I'm not going to say God causes all this. And let me clarify, side note, I do not follow Q. I did not follow Q. I thought Q was full of crap when he wanted everybody to agree to martial law. So side note here, no. I believe we have directed energy weapons. That is called DEW, D-E-W. That's what I believe played a part in the California fires. There's reasons and there's agendas for why they want the land in California. Burning people out of their homes, trying to get them to the city. The weather warfare plays a lot into the New World Order agenda that is coming our way because of biblical times and prophecies, which still we don't know for sure if that's God's timing. I know that it's scripted out in the world looking that way right now, but we still have a third temple that needs to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. There is still more that needs to be done. And right now I still feel we have more time. And I hope that we still have time to get the truth out. We're not censored, that I won't be censored for. Also, Bill Gates from hell has bought up a lot of the farmland. I mean, think about that. Why is he buying up farmland? And these storms right now are targeted towards the areas where a lot of our food come from. And like with Texas in the snow, that was set up. It was planned. They did that to Texas. With the weather technology, they caused what happened in Texas. A lot of people that made it through were already prepared because they're learning what this New World agenda is bringing to us. So we know to get our batteries. We know to stock up on food. Just like me going into my car, not knowing I was really going to live in my car like this, I have stuff stocked up that I started stocking up that I'm using in my car. So when you're prepared. Another side note of Anthony, you know, that Anthony guy, his last name starts with the F. It has a U in it too, so I call him Anthony F. U. I don't listen to a word that psycho says. And I hope and pray that the majority, that most of you will understand that this is part of the New World Order agenda. I work in this. I work in it up front. If this was a true contagion, I would have been sick. I would have been sick by now. I don't wear gloves. I touch those buggies after so many people before I clean them. And I'm not sick or have been. Okay, and ending this with the storms that are coming our way, and supposedly there's 2 more bad storms coming again within the next several days. Just think about the targeted areas where they want to target. Some of the tornadoes damage I've seen already have been chicken houses, okay? There we go. They're trying to ruin the food supply. So if you're in an area where you're planting, you provide food for the United States, prepare. Always prepare. Always prepare for no power. I did that yesterday. I washed my clothes. I got my shower. I did everything I needed to do without power, if I didn't have power. So that's one thing. Prepare for the power. Just prepare if you live in those areas. Thank you for your comment. I knew I would get a therapy comment, so I was waiting for that. Okay, I lost my son in 1989. I begged for help. That's a big part of why we divorced. I had no help. My church didn't help me. My pastor didn't help me. I was begging, crying for help. Eventually, I did go to a therapist once I started working at the hospital and got free therapy through my hospital insurance. And I dealt with him and a couple others. And in the end, before I lost Allison, I would say 26 years after losing Dustin, I found Grief Share. The Grief Share group came to our church, and I got involved in that group, and that has helped me more than anything. So I am a group therapy person, and my Grief Share around me starts April 6th. I'll be back at it. Okay. Today, 4 years ago, was when my daughter had her four-wheeler accident. I got the call at 5 p.m. today. So, and I get off work at 5, and I'll be traveling to Alabama to see her children. And I will video as I go along the drive, because I had to make this drive 4 years ago when I got that call. And I will tell you all about it, everything that happened, up into getting into her room and seeing her on life support, and what happened there, and how special that ended up being, and a gift from God. And I will try my best not to get too emotional when I tell you about her. But today is 4 years ago, my daughter had her accident, and pray for me. Pray for me. Yes, I feel like I wasn't hurt as a child, but I was a motor mouth more so when I was a child. Since losing, I don't know if I really talked loud before losing Dustin or Allison, because I asked everybody, did I always talk loud? Because it's only in the last few years that, like, my daughter would tell me, don't talk so loud, Mom, or other people would be close to me, would be like, don't talk so loud. And I think why I talk loud now and not being heard, I think it stems from since I lost Dustin, I have spoke out of my pain and my need for help, my need for love and support, respect for what I'm going through, because who do you think you could live good, like normal, when you lose a child? So I feel like I'm not being heard. Yes. Thank you for your comment. I would love to hear about your journey. If you have blogged, if you've done anything like this on TikTok, I haven't checked out your account yet, but I will. I'm also a domestic violence survivor, and I am 59 years old. October 21st, Libra. I'm a Libra all the way. I have been single for 18 years. I'm not dating. I tried it a little bit, but I just don't want to date. When people keep on hearing my story, you'll see. And actually, I'm protecting the guy. If I'm not dating a guy, I'm protecting you from me, because I have a lot of issues. And if you can't understand me and what I'm going through, I can't, I just can't. It's too hard right now. But I would love to hear your story. Oh my goodness, I transposed the numbers. March 20th, 2017. It's amazing how I was able to be a bookkeeper, a teller, and cashier, and balance. I balanced the drawer. I always balanced. Now, if I was off balance, that was a way to look. Did I transpose any numbers? But yes, that's what I did. Today is when I found out about Allison's accident. At 5 p.m. today, I will start sharing that story in my drive to Chattanooga. She was airlifted from Fort Payne, Alabama to Chattanooga. I worked in the ER at that time, so when my ex-husband mentioned she was airlifted, I started freaking out. Yes, I did. I started freaking out. The video I just showed was where Allison had her accident. When you see me calling out for Zadie, when she comes up to me, it was there on the driveway that she fell off the four-wheeler. That happened a month and a half after this video. That's the children's ages when it happened. That was the last time I saw my daughter alive. And Zadie and Ryder saw the accident. It happened right in front of them. Ryder called his mama down because Zadie was driving the golf cart and she ran over his leg, and he was screaming that his leg was broke, and she got scared and jumped on the four-wheeler like she always does and drove down to where Ryder and Zadie were, and she lost control right in front of them.
Everything will be be alright. Yeah. Father, you say everything's gonna be alright, but my circumstances say I won't last through the night. I need your word to hold me now, need you to pull me through. I need a miracle, a breakthrough, I need you. They say you hold the whole universe in your hand.
I'm getting ready to make my drive to Alabama to see Allison's children, my grandchildren. And Saturday will make the official death day of Allison, and we will have a gathering there at her grave. But when I got the call from Butch that she had been in a four-wheeler accident, and he wanted me to get on Facebook and pray, because I had a lot of people that would always respond to my posts about prayer requests, and he told me she had been airlifted, and I just kind of like lost it at that time because of my experience in the ER, knowing what it means basically when you get airlifted. You know, it's like 95% chance of survival. And so I was just like, with God, I'm like, you can't take another baby from me. You can't take another child from me. God, I know. God, you can't take another baby from me. I know you won't take another baby from me. And, you know, that's one thing I said after I lost Dustin. All through the years, I would always proclaim or speak it into existence that God would never take another child from me. You know, I always believed that speaking in existence stuff was BS, because God's in control, right? So I was back and forth on the floor crying to God, trying to type out my Facebook post. And side note, I lost that Facebook page this past summer, 11 years worth. So I have none of these memories from Facebook to share today. And that's one bad thing about censorship. So anyway, my time's almost up. Let me go. Mistake. The other video was part 2. See what happens when you get a scatterbrain. That's how I was. This is how I was when this was going down. I was just scattered. Don't judge us mamas by how we act when this is going on. I mean, don't hold us liable for really anything that we say or anything like that. I mean, please overlook us in that regard. You can't make that judgment either, because you have never been in that position. And if you have been in that position, you would know how to deal with a mama just finding out her child may be dying, and basically, you know, just saying, I always advocate for us mamas, and I knew this would take me a while to explain. Next, as I was getting prepared to get on the road to drive to Chattanooga, my other 2 daughters, one living in Georgia and one here in North Carolina with me, were saying that, you know, they're going to wait. It's just, I was going to go on. And my oldest daughter lives in Chattanooga, so she was called anyway. She was there. And so I started out with my drive, you know, still in my own fears because of her being airlifted like that. And really not knowing what was going on at this time, other than speaking to my ex-husband Butch, telling me that they want to operate on her, but they can't operate on her right now, and she was on a ventilator. And that's all I knew when I got on the. While I was headed to see Allison in Chattanooga, my daughters in Georgia and North Carolina said that they weren't going to come up to the next morning. They were going to wait, let me get there, find out what was going on also, and I would let them know, and then they would come the next morning if they needed to. And while I was driving, both of them took turns calling me and telling me that they were coming. And when the scenario changes, you know, the critical thinker that I am, I start questioning and I start asking questions. And they were like, they just wanted to come. They just wanted to come and see Allison. They decided to go ahead and come on and everything. And they were being vague with me. I knew something was up because they were being vague with me. So I got back on the road and I just started yelling as loud as I could to Allison, begging her, don't go. Don't leave me, Allison. Stay, Allison. I want you to stay. Don't leave us, please. Please, Allison, don't go. I kept screaming to the top of my lungs like she had the choice. Like she had the choice to stay or go. And at this time, I'm thinking my daughter is still alive and holding on, just barely maybe holding on with her sisters coming like that. So I kept screaming as I was driving, don't go, Allison, don't go. After talking to my daughters and screaming out to Allison and driving like that, I had to know what was going on. I had to know the truth. That was the best thing for me. My daughters thought maybe I couldn't drive if I was told the truth. I don't know. Just don't underestimate us either. That's another tip. Don't underestimate a bereaved mama. So I had to pull over the side of the road and call Butch and ask him the truth. I said, we went through this with Dustin. I can handle the truth. And he told me that the doctors told him that she wasn't going to make it, that she was, they think she's brain dead, and they will do more tests, and she will be on life support until we come and say goodbye. I did it again. This is supposed to be part 8. The other was part 7. Oh well. Still scatterbrained reliving this. So after I talked to Butch and he told me what the doctors had said, I just drove on to Chattanooga numb. I just quiet, numb, listening to my music. Not knowing if I believed it or not. It didn't. I don't know. Another child. And this was different. Was an adult, 25 years old. 25 years old. There was no way I could blame myself for her death, but like I did Dustin, but it's different. I miss her.